What's up guys, welcome to Newswave, a show where we talk about all types of video game news that's happened today, and there's a lot today actually since we just went through the PlayStation Expo. If you missed my video earlier talking about it, I had reactions immediately following the show. Definitely check that out, and without further ado, let's get into it. So the first big thing today guys, The Last Guardian actually got leaked. I'm not sure how. I assume some stores actually broke the street date, which actually happens a lot. For a while there, places like 7-Eleven would get the game and then sell it like 3 to 4 days before the actual release. In this case, it may have actually been broken up to a week early, which is insane. That's very early. However, the people who have played it gave it some good reviews basically and said, yes, it's a good game, don't worry. If you were concerned about a few things such as game length or graphics or how the characters play, don't worry, everything is good. I don't want to give anything away. I read through a little bit of it. I don't want to have anything given away for myself either, but I did see that the game length is well over 10 hours. They're claiming 13 to 14 hours, and the controls are good. The characters are really good. They said they're very, very relatable, and you actually get very attached to them. We apparently didn't see much about the story in all of the trailers and previews and everything, so from what everyone's saying that's played it, there is a really, really good story here. So I'm excited. I'm sure you guys are. Anyone's looking forward to it, and Tuesday we'll all have it, so we'll know a little more then. And moving on to a big announcement that happened earlier today at the PlayStation Experience. Everyone was asking me about it after I posted my reactions. I left it out on purpose, but Crash Bandicoot was announced. It's coming back to the PS4. We did have an announcement prior at E3, but we didn't see anything about it. We actually learned a lot more about what this is exactly, and what it is basically a remake of the original Crash Bandicoot games. Now, a lot of people were concerned, and you could see it in kind of the reactions on the chat and everything, if they were going to essentially ruin these games. No, they're not. They're going to keep the spirit as close to being the same as possible while adding current things that we're used to, such as auto saves and much better save system, to be honest. And there's going to be better level design, but it's going to be based on the same geometry that we're used to before in the games. So yes, the levels will be rebuilt. The cinematics are going to be completely redone, which is awesome. You can see some pictures here. They're going to completely redo all the cinematics, and it'll be more like PS4 level visuals. Obviously, they can only do so much with it, but it looks like instead of like remastering it and upscaling it and everything and trying to smooth it out, they're just going to make it straight up from like the ground up. So all the graphics will look really good, and it's going to have, from what they said, the first 3 games, which is awesome. So yes, I'm excited for it. I think there's a lot of people who are probably just going to buy the PS4 because Crash Bandicoot is back. That's how big Crash was back in the day. If you weren't around or aware at the time, Crash Bandicoot was huge for the PlayStation, and it was up there with like Sonic, for example, for Sega. So very excited. I think it's going to do very well. I'll be checking it out, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will too. So right in the beginning of the keynote, we saw a new Uncharted game. We weren't really sure what it was at first, and then they came out and said it's Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. So Uncharted: Lost Legacy is going to be a standalone game, like I said. It's going to follow Nadine and Chloe a little more, so you get that backstory for them. They said it's not going to be as long as Uncharted 4 was, but it is going to be longer than the Last of Us spin-off that we saw a few years ago. And we get the final Resident Evil 7 demo that's coming out. This is a game I've been looking at for a while, mostly because it could really be one of the big jumping off points for VR. It's a game that makes a lot of sense. Scary games work really well for VR since you essentially are immersing yourself in a world that is there to be super creepy and scary. And of course, the way VR works is very intimate, obviously, for the person playing because they are surrounded by it and they are cut off from the world around them. So VR and Resident Evil make a lot of sense. And what they did was they released the final demo today where you could go and you could try it out. It takes you back to that creepy house that we saw in the trailer. And that's it for all of their demos and stuff. At this point, we just now need to wait for Resident Evil to come out to play the rest of it. But definitely check out the demo if you have a VR unit. Even if you don't, you can still play it. But definitely check it out just to see and let us know what you guys think about it in the comments below if you have a chance to play it. There's another quick announcement at the PlayStation Experience, so they kind of glossed over very quickly. It was for the new Wipeout collection that's coming out. The Wipeout Omega Collection is what it's called, and it's going to have Wipeout HD, Wipeout HD Fury, and then Wipeout 2048. There are very few details on the whole thing. It looked like it's probably going to be, honestly, a remaster of all of them, probably upscaled, probably put to like 4K for the Pro support, and that's probably going to be about it for that. I'm not really sure if they're going to rebuild it much like they are Crash Bandicoot. I assume not, since Crash has a massive audience where Wipeout is followed, but it's definitely not as big as Crash. So I would expect it to be kind of just a remaster of the 3 put on one disc for the PlayStation 4. Still though, if you're a Wipeout fan, that's actually really cool, and I'm sure you're probably looking forward to it. And if you didn't already see, Akuma is coming out December 20th. They finally gave us a date today, which is great. He will be coming to Street Fighter V later on this month, like I said, December 20th. He's going to be a part of the second season DLC for all of the downloadable characters. This pack is going to include 6 playable characters. The other ones we're not sure of yet. We know Akuma is the first one. And it's going to cost $30. So basically it's just another season pass that you buy and you get 6 more characters. I do kind of prefer this method rather than keep releasing a game over and over again. I get that they want to put everyone on one disc, so if you go to like a tournament or someone's house, you don't have to bring your specific system that has them unlocked on it. But again, it's good to be doing it this way rather than make you buy the game over again. Again, December 20th for Akuma, and then we'll see who else is in the pack going forward. The last bit of news comes from Gearbox about Bulletstorm, the new one coming out, the remastered. Has kind of some fans, they're kind of mad. They're a little mad at him right now because they came out and they said that it's going to be a $60 game, despite being a remaster that's being made for the new systems. From what we could tell, there's not a lot of changes or differences other than, of course, the graphical changes, things like that for upscaling and probably re-rendering here and there. But essentially, it's going to be a very similar game to what we've already played. Now, a lot of people are not happy because most of the time when these remasters come out, they are cheaper. They're $30 or $40. This looks like they want the full $60 for what is essentially a 4K experience. Now, is that worth $60? Probably not. Bulletstorm is extremely cheap right now. You can get it anywhere on the 360 for like $8. I don't even think it's expensive on the computer either right now. So a lot of people obviously are not happy with them. Are they going to change the price? Probably not. I assume when it comes out and the sales aren't good because of this, they will then drop the price to $40 or so. But I think them coming to market with a $60 game that is essentially a remaster of a game we've already played is not a good idea. Unless there's some big thing that they haven't told us about that's going to be in the game that's going to change things up dramatically. And I'm not talking about 4K or even graphical changes, I'm talking about actual gameplay or content. Then they are kind of walking into what is going to be a really bad launch day for them. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye out on them going forward. We'll see if anything else changes. That's going to do it for news today, guys. Today, definitely check out the PlayStation Experience video, like I said, if you wanted to see what came out there. And obviously take a look around. There's a lot of trailers, there's a lot of gameplay, there's a lot of stuff out there for the PlayStation Experience, and it was pretty good overall, like I said. So definitely like, subscribe, and check out our other videos, guys, and I will see you next time.